All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today to our speaking engagement that we are doing here today for our Entrepreneurial Summit Part 2. I would like to introduce everyone on this panel, and you could start us out, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nicolea with DB's Cajun Kitchen in Las Vegas. I'm going to be your moderator for the day. We're welcoming you to the Women of Global Change Entrepreneurship Workshop by Heather Rise. It's designed for historically underrepresented entrepreneurs. So on our panel today, we have Brenda Bryant, small business instructor for the University of Nevada, Reno. We have Britney Harris, the owner of DB's Cajun Kitchen. Dorian Warmsley, sober wellness coach, and our creator, Heather Rise. She's the Las Vegas chapter president of Women of Global Change, university professor, and social media influencer. If we can give them all a round of applause.
First of all, I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming out and joining us today. Today, we're just going to have a panel discussion, and we're going to talk about our stories and how we got to where we are. This vision of mine has been was placed upon my heart because I've always wanted to help people become who that they were called to be. I have a program called Huge, and that program is designed to help individuals in the community with their small business ventures. A lot of the times in my walk, I noticed that a lot of people started our businesses, as we call it, unconventional. A lot of us have started businesses and, without the business plan, without help from the community. And we just kind of started. Most of us might have started as, on Etsy or Facebook Marketplace or, on Craigslist or whatever the case may be. And I met so many people who just did not have the resources or the knowledge on how to grow and expand their business. And so I created this program during COVID to help individuals in the community to teach them what they need to know. Now, I know Las Vegas has a lot of incubators. I know Las Vegas has a lot of programs where you can learn how to do your business plan and how to get funding and all of these types of things. The problem that I realized is that in the city of Las Vegas or wherever, you always have to go here, there. This place gives you help with small business loans. Another company or organization helps you with business planning or business writing. And it's never just, we're not having one conversation where it's like a one-stop shop. I'm from Los Angeles, and we have a one-stop shop system called Kaiser. Don't use it. But it is a one-stop shop where you can really kind of get everything that you need underneath one umbrella. And it all started for me when I remember I was in the beauty shop back in LA, and we used to have this lady that would come in and she would sell enchilada pies, and they were so good. And she started off in her kitchen, and then she was always just, coming to the beauty shop or the barber shop or the nail shops. And we all knew who she was in LA. And when I moved here, I thought about her because I said, I really want an enchilada pie. And I was like, I wonder if she even knows how to come from where she's at to a food truck to a business. And that's the part that when I went back to LA, I moved here in 2012. I ended up finding her and through a relative who still had her number, and she's still selling tamale pies out of her car 20 years later. She never got the tools and the resources to grow and expand. And I see so much of that within my community, not just in the African-American community, but just back home in LA. We just get stagnant and we're comfortable where we are. And I wanted to do something about that. My mother always said, if you're not a part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. And that's how I started this program. Today, we're going to talk about our stories and how we got here. And we're going to have a conversation. This is just going to be where we're just going to talk. And I really want to know each and every one of your stories. What are your business ventures? Where are you at? When you hear where we came from and where we are today and how we're still trying to get to where we are, we're going to see that we're really actually a family really right underneath this umbrella. So just a little background about me. I'm a university professor. I teach history, social studies, political science, public policy. I've been teaching since 2012. I love history. I'm also a historian, and I'm also a Bible scholar. I teach the Bible all around the world. I've traveled around the world teaching and preaching the gospel. And outside of that, I'm also, as they have said, a social media influencer. And I'll talk about that later on. So next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Britney Harris, and I am the owner of DB's Cajun Kitchen, one of the best restaurants in Las Vegas, if I must say so myself. I just became an entrepreneur officially in 2020 during COVID. Prior to that, the state correctional officer of the state of Nevada for 6 years, and then I was also a CPS investigator for 6 years. So here I am now. So I'm excited to be a part of this panel.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Dorian Warmsley. I am a sober wellness. And I'll tell a small bit of my story. 10 years ago in 2014, for about 3-4 days, I woke up in the hospital, confused, not knowing what's going on. The recovery process led me to realize I survived for a reason. And seeing people in the rehab facility with me, I was like, you know what? Maybe not a doctor, but maybe I could be a fitness coach and use that space to help people when they're feeling rock bottom, because that's how I felt. So I became a fitness coach. And then once I went to business for myself in 2022, I realized if I'm working for myself, I need to be sharp. I need to be on point. I got rid of alcohol. I got rid of chasing women. Sober and celibate was my goal because I wanted to be proficient in what I was doing. And I gave up alcohol. My life changed. And I would get reached out. People reach out to me. How'd you do it? How do you feel? So then I developed a sober wellness coaching program at 6 weeks to help people understand their drinking habits and hopefully take back their power through sobriety. And then I use my fitness platform to host charity events to raise money for local nonprofits. And that's me, a little bit of my story.
Hi, my name is Brenda Bryant, and I wear two hats, but probably more than that. I am a small business instructor through the University of Nevada, Reno, and we do classes that are specifically focused on small businesses. We don't care what kind of business you have. We want you to understand what it means to be in business. So I started out getting my business license in Los Angeles. Didn't everybody come from California? And every time my business started to grow, somebody would come along and say, hey, come work for me. I love what you do. So I'd put that aside, and then I'd go work for somebody, and then they'd fire me because they were going through some financial changes, and we're going to get rid of all these people. And so then I'd start my business again, and somebody else would come along and say, hey, come work with me. And so here I am. I'm not a business owner. Here I am. I'll work for you. So I didn't have the mindset of a business owner. I had the mindset of an employee. I graduated from HBCU. They did a great job teaching me how to be somebody else's employee. Nobody did a job of teaching me how to take care of me. I can run your business. I can't run my paycheck. So the other hat that I have is a nonprofit called Finance is a Second Language, and it's to teach financial literacy basics to people who want to know how to manage what they already have so they can be open to the abundance to come. The Bible tells us if you are managing well, more will come. If you're not managing well, you can forget it. There's no more coming, okay? Because you're just going to keep making the same mistakes over and over again. So I'm here to support reaching out into the community, helping as many business owners as we can. We know that corporations are not going to help us. We need to help ourselves. Let's build strong businesses, strong communities, because we are strong people.
So we're just going to get into it. So we have some questions for the panel. I'm going to go amongst all of you just throughout. If you have anything particular that you want to piggyback on someone else, just, I guess, kind of raise your hand or just say, excuse me. So each panelist has a certain expertise. So we're going to start with Heather. Market analysis and strategy. Can you share the story of what initially inspired you to start your journey into entrepreneurship and community work?
Absolutely. I got tired, just very plainly, of people telling me no. Period. Prior to me starting my entrepreneurial journey, I've always had a position of either director, assistant director, or some type of, after grad school, I always got positions that were director or assistant director or above, manager or above. And I always had someone over me. Prior to COVID, I worked as the director over finance and business operations for the state of Nevada, and underneath GoEd. And I did a whole lot of work, in my position, and my boss would be the one that was always on the forefront, but it was always my work. I was the only woman in that entire organization, believe it or not, in my department, in my unit, and I was the only African American in the entire organization. And after I went for my second master's in 2018, I then got promoted, and with that promotion, my job and my duties, increased. And everything that I did, he took the credit for. He was the one that was in front of the media when things got to the media and things of that nature. And it was always my work. And every time that I had an idea or things of that nature, he would always tell me no, or try to recreate my own idea. Well, let's do it this way. But it was really my idea, but he wanted to put a spin on it. And I kept having that all throughout my career after undergrad or after college. I got tired of people telling me no. I got tired after COVID. I ended up losing my job and I was furloughed. All of us lost our jobs. And it was at that point that I said that I don't want anyone to be the executor on how I pay my bills, that my kids are in private school, and that I don't want you to be to make the responsibility on how I pay my bills. And I certainly don't want to ask you for permission to go on vacation. And I certainly don't want to ask you for permission or to come up with some type of excuse to let you know that my kids are sick or that I just don't feel like coming today. Because I do believe in just having a personal day, that I don't have to be sick or that I don't have to be on vacation. Sometimes I just need to digress from this job. And it was at that point, that I said no more. I don't want anyone being responsible. When I had to get on unemployment, it was just like, that's too much responsibility for somebody else to have over my household. And, and it's not just me. And it was at that point that drove me to entrepreneurship.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Brenda, her expertise, we're going to look at vision and mission.
Yeah, I want to piggyback off her. She said that she wanted to be independent. I just told you I didn't. Okay. But understand, from both of those stories, anybody can step up and be a business owner. When you decide to be a business owner, the thing that you're going to have to work on the most is you. Not your product, not your service, not your marketing, not your licensing, you. And I call it mindset reset. I worked for the Small Business Development Center for many years. I was an advisor there. I have been a consultant nationwide and for several countries. And one of the biggest issues that I've run into is that If you are starting a business, you're usually bringing with you your W-2 mentality. W-2 mentality is just the thing that Heather hated, that there's always somebody over you. There's somebody that you can pass something on to. When you decide to be a business owner, you need to leave your W-2 mentality outside and bring in your business mentality, which means, as Truman says, the buck stops here. Okay, you're the one who's in charge. Nobody's going to pass this on to someone else. You're it. The decision needs to be made by you. It doesn't need to be made by you alone, because there are resources, there are people who can help you, but you still have to be the decision maker. So as you decide to move into this wonderful world of entrepreneurship, which I came screaming and kicking, and I got marks all over my body because I didn't want to do it, I'm here. You're here. Make the best of it. Change your mindset, because now this is your dream and you're in charge of your dream.
Thank you, Brenda. We want to give it back to Brenda. I feel like she's making kind of picking. Why is having a clear vision and mission statement crucial for a new business?
Why do you want to be in business? What are you doing? What are you bringing to your community? And you have to decide who your community is. So what are you bringing to your community that they would say to you, yes, I like that, and I would like to be a part of that? If you don't know what that is, you have some work to do. From a visionary standpoint, where do you want to see your business going? I have had clients who wanted to be just a one-person business, which is what I am. I got my little group. I got my clients. I'm fine with that. I've got clients who want to take over the world. Okay? What do you decide that you want? What do you see coming up within the next year, 5 years, 20 years? Do you still want to be doing this 20 years from now? And you say, well, I don't know what I'm going to be doing 20 years from now, but you need to start thinking about that, because that's called longevity. I didn't get into business to be a one and done. I got into business because I'm reaching out in the community. If I am a restaurant owner, what am I bringing to the community? I'm not only bringing food to the community, I'm bringing my culture to the community. I'm bringing camaraderie. This is a place where people can come and enjoy themselves individually and as families and as friends. So you need to think very seriously about this step that you're taking. It's a beautiful step, but it's a big one.
And I just want to add to that. The question is, how important it is to have a vision and a mission, right? And I feel compelled to say, there's an old saying that says, a man with vision needs a woman that has sight, right? So there's a difference between vision and sight. Vision is what you see, over the mountain or see further. Sight is what you see right in front of you. So when you have a business, it's important to not only just have a vision, which is where you see the business going in the future, but you also need to have the mission, which is kind of comparable to the sight. A lot of us, when we start our businesses, and for you guys, I'm sure you really don't really think about the mission and the vision and all of these, small intricacies. And I'm sure, we all can attest to that. But, it's kind of like you just kind of get something started, or, I like making earrings, so I'm just about to, but you don't have the vision or the mission as to, we normally kind of write our vision and mission after we've already gotten started, unless you're just a huge planner. But, keep that in mind, is when it comes to becoming an entrepreneur, don't only just look at the vision further out, but also look at what's in front of you. Also look at your mission as well. Anybody else, or are we going to go?
kind of the opposite side of things. Brenda mentioned anybody could be a business owner. I disagree with that in a sense. I don't think everybody is meant to do it. I think you need to understand your why, because some people think just because they enjoy doing something, oh yeah, I'm going to do this business because I like doing it. I think your why needs to be real deep in there, real deep, not just superficial, not just because you want to be your own boss. Like, it takes a lot of work and leadership to be your boss. And that's just not built in everybody. Some people are really good and built at structure. They can be managed well, which is not bad. I just heard a story of the owner of the Clippers. To my knowledge, if that story was right, he was a part of the Google company and worked his way all the way up. And now he owns the Clippers. So he wasn't necessarily an entrepreneur. So it's okay to be good at what you do and let others manage you and take your skills and coach you through it. That's my idea on that. But also, like I said earlier, having a deep why, like they mentioned the question about vision, that why has to be real deep. The why has to almost make you want to cry. It can't just be superficial reasons. It's got to be real visceral, really in your soul. So when things go bad, you don't forget your why, because things are going to go bad. Those storms are going to come, and you got to understand, hey, I got to take care of my mom. I got to take care of my babies. I got to do something for my community. It's bigger than just the money. But that's just my take on that. Sorry.
Thank you, Dorian. So, Britney, financial planning and projections. Can you share the story of how DB's Cajun Kitchen started and what inspired you to begin cooking and selling Cajun food from your home?
So I would probably be one of the unconventional entrepreneurs. Just like Miss Brenda said over here, I was okay with working for somebody else. I thought at this point in my life, I'd be working for the FBI. Like I stated, I was in corrections for years, and I was also in CPS for years. So I was okay with that. The way we started out of our home, if you work for a county or a state building, we like to eat. We go out to eat for lunch every day. You bring a lunch, you don't even eat the lunch you bring, you go out to eat. So in my building, we would always go out to eat. My ex-husband, my husband at the time, he cooked really well. So he said, I'll start cooking for your office and we can start selling plates. It was just supposed to be at one office. We had a supervisor that happened to be there and came back and was like, I went to the other office and they had this food there and that food was bomb. And I was like, oh, hey, that's my food. So we ended up doing it at different businesses and different offices. Then COVID hit and the world shut down. Our average meals per week, we would do probably 20 to 40 plates. So not a whole lot. We went from doing 20 to 40 plates to, and I'm not lying, when COVID hit and everything was shut down, we had 170 orders of crab boils and did not know how we were going to fulfill that. My neighborhood would have cars lined up all the way around. My neighbors didn't know if we were selling drugs or what we were doing. They just knew they smelled seafood in the air. So sometimes we have a plan for our life, but God has a different plan for us. So I've learned when things align the way they're supposed to, it'll work. So COVID happened. It was a blessing for us because we were able to get a storefront with no experience, no business plan, no money. We had to have our friends rally. We used our savings. We used our credit cards. But since everything was shut down, people that had buildings that were vacant, what did they want to do? They wanted people to get in there. So right now, we might not have been able to get a storefront, but at that time, since everything aligned, we were able to get a storefront. So that's kind of how we started. We started in the house. We had 5 people, my cousins. Anybody that came over, the running joke was don't go over there if you don't plan on working, because we didn't care. Somebody was holding the baby. Somebody was doing this, taking food out. And now we're here 4 years officially almost in our building. And we are constantly growing and getting better. But entrepreneurship is not for the weak. I still have days where I'm like, I just want to go to work at 9 o'clock and at 5 o'clock, shut it down, because it never stops. When everybody leaves, you're the one that has to keep everything together. When the money is running dry, because you're not always up and up and up, you're going to have those times where you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do. That's why you really do have to have that love for it, because sometimes you got to go sit in the car and cry and then pull it together and come right back. So that's kind of how we started. And we had to figure out later on how to get the business plan and how to get everything lined up so that you can move forward and get funding and getting things like that. Things that people don't tell you about. It's not too many people that talk to you about starting businesses. And so it's important for us to surround ourselves with people who are in the business that we are trying to enter into so that they can teach you the things that you may not know.
So,
And I just wanted to also let you guys know that they have businesses that are brick and mortars. I'm not. And that's okay. I'm still a business. So for me, my business is my business is all speaking. I get paid to go and get contracts to go and speak. That's it. My second business is my social media. And my social media brings me about $2,000 to $3,000 a month. And so that's my business. Now I don't have, now I can have projections to, make $10,000 a month, but that's more content that I have to create. And you got to plan your content and do all these types of things as well. But I'm not a brick and mortar. Are you a brick and mortar? Mm-hmm. He's a brick and mortar. She's a brick and mortar. So they have physical businesses. Some of you may not have I have no desire to become a brick and mortar at all. And so I want you to understand that true entrepreneurship is just really what it is not working for somebody else. Whether if it's a side thing, I have the girl that braids my daughter's hair. She's an entrepreneur. She works, but she has a side job. So that's still a form of entrepreneurship. So I don't want you guys to take away that you have to have this dream of having a brick and mortar or having an actual physical business. And for some of us that actually have brick and mortars, sometimes you just get jumped into it. It was, as you see, she was okay with working what she was doing. It's kind of like circumstances happen. And sometimes you just get pushed into entrepreneurship. And so we'll talk about that. I want to know about all of you guys' ventures and things of that nature to see if our stories align and how we could be, networking together, because that's not my story, but we're all of us up here are entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for Dorian, how have your personal values and experiences influenced the way you structure and lead your programs?
For me, ask you one more time. I'm sorry.
How have your personal values and experiences influenced the way you structure and lead your programs?
So for my personal experiences, I was raised by a single Mexican mother out of Orange County, California. And yeah, Orange County. I mean, but it's we at a certain point, when I was 9-10 years old, we became homeless. So we were living in and out of motels. She would go to the shelter. A lot of things I got were from charity. So Christmas time were charities and things like that. So as I got older and started working for myself, that's kind of what I tapped back into. When I dove in, I left my job. I was working at Orange Theory for a corporate gym. And I just looked around the room one day. I'm like, man, they're not paying me enough to do what I'm doing. And I just left just like that and worked for myself. And I didn't know what I was doing. About 3 months in, I started getting imposter syndrome, questioning myself. Do I need to go back? Am I able to do this? Nobody in my family works for themselves. I never seen that. Dad wasn't around. And one thing I started to think of was like, I need to take the focus off me and how can I add value to others? So I started adding value to others by improving my communication, improving my workout programs, and diving into the community. Started putting together community events that helped me feel fulfilled, but also just seeing the community come together for these events, it felt just good. And once I did that, that was one of my core values now, is just add value wherever I go. In this room, the grocery store, with my clients, on my podcast, whatever it is, figuring out ways to add value to others. And the way the universe works, they'll always come back and you gain confidence in that sense. I hope that answers the question.
It does.
Yeah.
Thank you. So this question can be for anyone. What role did networking and building relationships play in the growth of your business or career? Does anyone want to take that one?
Everything. You are not in business if you haven't told somebody what you have to offer, because they can't buy what they don't know exists. The only person I've ever run into, and I only ran into him once, was Steve Jobs, who pulled something out of the air, made us think that we wanted it, built something around it, and we bought it. I've never run into anybody else who've ever done that before. I can't do it. I don't know. Maybe you can, but I can't. I have to talk to people. I have to let people know who I am. I can't hire her to speak if I don't know she has a speaking business. You can't hire me to help with financial literacy if you don't know that's what I do. I can't go to your restaurant if I don't know it exists. So think of all the money you're losing by not opening your mouth. So when you go to a networking event, don't do what I did. I threw up on everybody. I had this great business. It is the best business in the world. Let me tell you what I do. And then people are still wiping me off of them. What you want to do is you want to meet someone and you want to find out about them, because they may not be your customer, but you don't know that till you have that conversation with them. So let's find out who you are first. And common courtesy says, I'm listening to you. You will now say to me, so what do you do? Thank you very much for the opening. Be brief, be concise, be understandable. You're not there to sell them. You are there to meet them. You are there to start the relationship. So when I say networking is everything, I'm really serious about that. I can't sell to somebody who doesn't know that I exist, who doesn't know that my product or service exists. But I also want them to know, like, and trust me. They'll never get to the trust part if they don't know me. They don't get to the like part if they don't know me. So let me come into your world and explain to you who I am and how we can work together. Because I have a value that I'm putting out in front of you, and you have a value I want, which is your money. Okay. And you should always walk away from me feeling like you paid a lot less for what you got.
And I just wanted to also include, your friends and family are not your business. Yeah, right. They're not going to support you. They're not going to, if you, like for me, I'm on social media, they're not going to like any of your posts. They're not going to share it. They're not going to comment, but they will watch it. They'll watch your stories. And then, and you can even tell them, I tell some people all the time, like, oh yeah, well, this, last weekend I went to the lake, and they'll say, oh yeah, I saw it on your page. You went to the lake. Well, I didn't know that you saw it on my page. So I'm telling you, because all the other thousands of people let me know that they saw that, but you didn't. And I could see little small things. A lot of people don't go into business because they think that they don't have the support that they need. But let me tell you, your client, your customer is not your family, and it is not your friends, and it's not anybody that knows you. Because one thing that I can honestly say is that when they start to see that you're growing, and when they start to see that you're investing, and that they start to see that people want what you have, you're going to lose a lot of family and friends. And that's real talk. And you'll start to see that your circle is going to get smaller and smaller. When my daughter was selling, I'll give you an example. My daughter was selling Girl Scout cookies. I went on my social media and I said, my daughter's selling Girl Scout cookies. I made $450 from strangers, but none of my friends and none of my family bought one cookie from my daughter. They were all people that do not know me, and they value me because they don't know me. So I'm very cautious about making people my friends, because the moment that they think that they're my friend, they start devaluing me. And then they start seeing me as their friend instead of seeing me how they first saw me when they first met me. So that's just something I want to throw that out there.
So for me, networking and social media is extremely important for my business. So with networking, I don't look like this usually. I wear my DB's Cajun Kitchen clothes everywhere I go. I'm in the grocery store. Hey, have you ever heard of DB's Cajun Kitchen? Let me give you a card. Let me have your first meal on me. So I go around. Yes, I will. I got you. So I go around and I talk to everybody. It doesn't matter where I'm at, especially if they see me grocery shopping because it's such, big quantities of it. And I talk to everybody about my business and I stand behind it. So they know, like, when they're talking to me, even if my food wasn't good, the way I make it sound is good. But it is really good, just FYI. And social media. So when we started during COVID, the reason why we were so successful is because before we had our brick and mortar, our social media presence was so big. Like you said, friends and family aren't the ones. So we're going to people that we don't know in their inbox. Hey, come try us out. Come do this. Come have this. Let me give you a discount. So networking looks different for everybody, but it's extremely important. And you never know. You might just happen to be at the store, at the gas station, and just talk to the right person. And you just got to get them in front of you. And if you know how to sell your product, that's it.
Man. I think Brenda and Heather, all three of you guys made great points of when she said the networking. I think it's very important. I've recently started going to networking events so I can meet more people for when I do these events. Because like she just said, you never know who you're going to meet in those rooms. And one thing I go with is intention, but also to make a genuine connection. I try not to make it transactional, like what can I get out of you? I just want to make a genuine connection. I made some genuine connections with these two women who have a nonprofit called Your Perfect Footwear. And we just became cool friends. And next thing you know, I'm hanging out with Julia. Heather calls her, and now I'm here sitting with you guys, sharing my story. But just because I went within the intention of making a genuine connection, like making a real friend, and the opportunities will come. And then to piggyback off what she said, is definitely for those of you who are in business or looking, it's never going to come from people you like. But to me, it feels better that way because now I know these like all my clients are women. So I got 15 women who I've never met ever until they see me on social media and they pay me hundreds of dollars to help them get in shape. They trust me with their health. To me, that's more fulfilling than my friends. So it's like, y'all don't want to support me. It's okay. I got 15 strong, beautiful women who are definitely willing to support me. So making sure you don't rely on your friends or family, it's better when a stranger does it because they have no idea who you are, but they trust you. They trust your product. And yeah. Oh, yeah. That too. Friends and everybody always want a discount. Man, no. You're paying full price. And I'm adding tax now because you got me messed up. And to piggyback off of what you said of you saying, even the food might not be good, but, the way I talk about it, it's going to be good. There's a speaker. I forgot her name. African-American woman. Her famous talk is she says, you got to sell the sizzle. And I love that because when I'm in a restaurant. What's her name? Lisa Nichols? It might have been Lisa Nichols, yes. And I know when I'm at a restaurant like Juan's Flaming Fajitas, if you've ever been there, it's amazing. Yes. I always, as soon as you see that sizzle, you turn your head and like, it might not taste that good, but you sell that sizzle. So for your business, making sure you're selling that sizzle, but also make sure your product is A1 as well.
So what I want to know is where you guys are, because we're here not just to sit up here and tell you all of our story, because we can talk a lifetime, especially me. But I want to know who in this audience, how many of you are 100% fully employed but don't have a business? Okay, one. How many? Two. Two is okay. So you guys are fully employed, don't have a business. Not yet. Okay. How many of you are 100% fully entrepreneurs? Wow. 100%. Okay. And how many of you are half entrepreneurs and half employees? Okay. So about 30%. Okay. Me too. Okay. So I want to ask, and any one of you guys that might want to, we have the other mic that might want to get the mic. Can you guys share with us, for those of you that are 100% fully entrepreneurs, I want to know about your business, and I want to know if you're conventional or unconventional, meaning like, and that's like a word that we made up that word when we talked, because Brenda was like, what are you talking about, conventional, unconventional? So this is a word that we made up. For conventional is people that started ground running. I'm going to write my business plan and then the right way. And then for unconventional, like us, we started off where, we just kind of like boots and saddles, it was just like, we'll get that later. I want to know if your business is, our word, conventional or unconventional. Okay. You want to get started?
I actually want to start it off.
Oh, okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rashonda. I'm actually the secretary of the Women of Global Change.
You want to get in front of the camera? Or
No,
no,
ma'am.
No,
I do
okay.
not.
All right.
So my business is called Wild Waves USA. And I started unconventional.
Okay.
I didn't know nothing about nothing.
Uh-huh.
Like I from a family that poverty riven, everybody's employees. I didn't know nothing about being.
What's the name of your business?
Wild Waves USA.
Wild Waves. Okay.
Mhm.
And what does it do?
It's eyeglasses, prescription. So my goal is, my business is based on making sure that people can find affordable and stylish eyeglasses. If anybody that wears eyeglasses know, eyeglasses are very, very, very expensive. So my goal is to make sure that no matter what walk of life you're from, you can find some nice glasses that you like, that fits your style, but also that won't hurt your pockets.
Okay.
Outside of being able to feed family, you know what I'm saying, pay bills, but still be able to afford your eyeglasses.
Well, let me ask you a question before you hand her over the
Yes,
mic.
ma'am.
So she sells some eyeglasses or sunglasses?
Eyeglasses.
Eyeglasses, prescription eyeglasses.
Yes.
Okay. So she has a desire to sell eyeglasses. And I'm going to use a word that maybe you guys have not heard of, and maybe you have. And if you don't know this definition, I'm just going to use the word. Have you done a market analysis, which means have you basically done an analysis of who your competitors are? Because I can already see right now, if you start that business or you're starting that business, your main competitor is going to be those 1-800 contact people.
Yes, I have done. I'm going to say 50% market analysis. I know probably 10 to 15 people that are going to be my competitors. Because some of the companies have certain designs that are affordable, but not all.
Mm-hmm.
And some have that are all affordable.
Okay.
But it just takes longer for you to get them.
So for that type of business, if we were starting this business with her, from what I'm assuming, you would probably need maybe some of us as an investor into it, because unless you're going to mold and create the glasses yourself, you're going to need somebody, or you're going to need some money or a factory to do that.
Exactly.
Unless you have a distributor that does that.
I don't.
So then we need to, let's just pretend this is our business. So now we need some type of distribution to be able to make the glasses. Are they prescription? Are you providing lenses or just frames?
I'm providing both.
Okay, so now we need a lab,
as well as the prescription lenses.
So now we need a lab.
Mm-hmm.
And is this going to be an actual kind of like lens crafters, or is this going to be something that is like 1-800 contacts, which is where I buy from all my prescriptions and stuff, where I could just do everything virtually and then it comes in the mail and stuff like that? Is that what
completely virtual?
Completely virtual. Okay, so you need to be able to have a distribution center that's able to have a lab to, if I get this correct, like have a lab in order to send the prescription out, and you need someone to be able to create them. So you're going to need money, and you're going to need capital, and you also need to know your market analysis. And I'm assuming that you'll be able to ship around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that would be one of the things that you would have to do in order to not even grow and to grow your business, but to even get it started.
Yeah. And that's where I'm at. Like I've made it to that point. And I mean,
and do you have a business plan? Because with that type of business, you absolutely have to have you have to have the skeleton or the business plan that actually gives you the blueprint on how you even get started before you got to have that in order to really kind of know where this business is going. Some people, I don't need a business plan.
I actually have several business plans.
But for
I just want to get to where I combine them, because it's not so much AI, but it's kind of I got help from people.
Okay.
So it's kind of
So
like
you need
not,
just one business plan.
So
Right.
I need to combine it to where it all makes sense to where it comes from me. You know what I
Right.
mean? As far as like what it is I see for the future.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm at that point where
what's stopping you right now to launch? Is it the motivation? Is it funding? Is it capital? Is it support?
It's gonna be funding. It's gonna be the distributor.
What you need funding?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's not the support. I think it's probably 25% the motivation. I think I lost a little bit.
So if this was Shark Tank right now, and we were the sharks, and we gave you, let's just say, what, $500,000? We gave you $500,000.
Wow.
Would you be able to get started right now, or do you have everything that you need? Like $500,000 right now. What else do you have to do?
The only thing I don't have is a distributor or a manufacturer.
So
like
you would need
that is what is holding my business up from actually launching. The website is up. I have the social medias. I even have people that are ready to go to the site and buy, but I don't have.
You don't have the eyeglasses.
No, I don't.
Well, you can get started with using somebody else's glasses. You don't have to.
Well, and that's one of the things that I looked into as well, and I haven't been able to put it all together.
Yeah, we call that drop shipping.
Yeah, I haven't been able to put all that.
It's very easy. That's the first. We can have a discussion,
absolutely,
and a conversation, because the before you get started, you can use somebody else's stuff.
Well, absolutely.
To
we
do
can
it.
Talk about that after.
Okay.
The event.
All right. Who's next?
Won't he do it?
Yes, he will.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Janet Crosswhite. I am the owner of Heavenly Smiles Mobile Dental, and I am the program director for Smiles Across Nevada, a nonprofit 501c3. My business is bringing mobile dentistry to our community, whether their ability to pay or whether they are able. I'm breaking barriers. The goal is to break barriers so that we can treat our community, the whole body, not just one sector. I have a mobile dental van that is built out as like a one-room dental office. And all of our equipment is portable, so we can bring everything out except for our chair. But we do have portable chairs, and we can go inside homes. We go inside schools. We can come right in here and turn this place into a dental practice, safe and infection control driven. And my goal is to just remove barriers, to create a safe space for people, pain free. And I've been very blessed out here in Las Vegas. I am unconventional and conventional. The reason why
you started off as unconventional.
I started off as I started off backwards, conventional, because I had to have everything written in order to be approved by the board. I'm unconventional because I had no background in business. I was thrown in it because of my heart. And this is my why. I need to save our community. Like we can be so much healthier, because where does health start? It starts in our mouth. Not from our paycheck, not from our pocketbook, not from our legs, our feet. It starts with our mouth. And it's not necessarily what we eat. You can be the healthiest vegan person and be unhealthy in your mouth.
That's true. Now, let me ask you some questions.
You're very smart too, by the way. Very educated.
And she really is pain free. She has brought that mobile bed, and I've gotten my teeth
Okay.
cleaned more than once.
So would you like to come in front of the camera and talk, or?
I will come in front of the camera.
Okay, yeah. Let the
not that
I want to. Who you are?
Like that beautiful smile.
Not that I want to.
Okay. And let us know that she's on the camera so people can, because we can't see. So, and your name is Janet?
My name is Janet Crosswhite.
Okay, Janet Crosswhite. What is the name of your business again?
Heavenly Smiles Mobile Dental.
Heavenly Smiles Mobile Dental. I already see a need because I have a 92-year-old grandmother,
Awesome.
but she's in Los Angeles, unfortunately. But this is where we can grow and expand.
Amen.
Because my mother and I had this conversation just yesterday. And Mom, if you're watching, please, was it yesterday? Because I think it was yesterday.
Mhm.
It was that Granny, she needed to make an appointment so Granny can get, I think, her teeth cleaned.
Mhm.
But Granny is bound to the bed. And we don't have that. And my mom was on the phone with the insurance company trying to see how that, this is the first time that we've ever heard of something like this. This is absolutely a need. When you start a business, it's normally because you either see a gap in a system or something, or it's because there's a need. I really tell people all the time, don't start businesses off of passion. You know, if I see that there's a need for a shoe shining business, I'm gonna start a shoe shining business, not because I like shining shoes. There's a need for it. So if you start a business off of passion, chances are that business will fail. You should start a business based off of a gap in something or because there is a need. That's what's going to get you paid. So there is actually a need for her business. So, so I'm assuming you have a licensed dentist.
So I'm board certified to be independent, and I am looking for partners of dentists. I am a licensed dental hygienist, and we do have a dentist coming on very soon. She's very part-time, but once we start there and she sees the passion and see that she will make money, I believe that there is a future with her.
And I also know a lot of us get a lot of our, not me, but I know that because I see it in the malls and stuff, get dental work, when I go to the dentist, the hygienist is the one, or the assistant is the one that does all the dentist comes in. He looks at all of the stuff on the screen. And then if I have a cavity, he fills the cavity. She's helping. And then he's out and he goes to the next room and she finishes it up. So I understand what you mean by that you're able to provide that type of service without being a dentist.
Absolutely.
So that's a great thing. And so how did you get the money to get started?
So I too started in 2020. I've been in dentistry now 30 years this month, and I have never had time off of work.
Mm-hmm.
So when COVID hit, I was sitting there and I could not stop thinking about my patients. My patients, meaning I worked in a high perio practice where a lot of my patients were immune compromised.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to find a way to bring access to care to them. Unfortunately, it didn't happen as fast as I wanted it to, but we had started. So we used our credit cards, our savings.
Did you use yours?
Credit cards, savings,
okay.
Friends. No friends, but we did do I take that back. I'm sorry. I have a friend here that helped me. I put out a GoFundMe because
there you go.
I was approved for the van, but we needed to build it, right? And that cost more money. I thought I had a mentor, but that mentor turned out to not be the mentor that we needed, but was still used by God to help us. So we took our resources and we got the van December of 2020. And then we went and fought with the board and showed them that, look, this can happen.
So yours is a 501(c)(3) is a nonprofit?
No. So Heavenly Smiles is a for-profit.
Okay.
I later, with the help of Grant Me Success, I was able to get a nonprofit because I wanted to raise money for those who didn't have anyway.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. So we have two different entities.
Okay.
Yep. And we started that way. And we're still going off of our own money.
All right. Is there anyone else that is fully you? Okay. So what is the name of your business? And are you fully entrepreneur? And tell us a little bit.
So my name is Janice Wiggins, and I'm the founder and owner of Grant Me Success, the
Oh,
company
okay.
that was just mentioned by Miss Janet Crosswhite. I helped her to start Smiles Across Nevada. Beyond that, I help many different organizations to get started, whether they are nonprofit or small businesses. I actually started my business with the inspiration that's much like yours. So I had two different events that occurred in my life that pushed me into entrepreneurship. Once, the first time was I was in my 20s and someone introduced me to direct sales. And so I won't say the company, but it was makeup. So you guys can maybe guess. They have
Was it
pink
Avon
Cadillac.
or-
They have pink Cadillacs.
Mary Kay. Yeah, Mary Kay.
And it was unconventional. And the reason why it was unconventional is because although I have makeup on today, in my 20s, I didn't really wear makeup. I didn't know how to apply it, didn't really know anything about it. But what drew me to it was the skincare, the skincare portion of it, because I have acne. I still have adult acne. I just cover it up now. But someone recognized, a cousin of mine recognized something in me that I really didn't recognize in myself. My background is actually in social work. I'm a social worker by education and have a master's in public administration. So I work on the policy end of things in government organizations and nonprofits, and had historically worked as a case manager in the healthcare arena. And in substance abuse, mental health, lots of various organizations. And so I did that for a while and worked through a couple of different direct sale companies and didn't realize the value of it really. But there was this in direct sales, a high focus on personal development. So I began to be introduced to these concepts of personal development and understanding what that really means and believing in myself and believing in and developing various values like integrity, right? You have to be integral in business. If you're not integral, you're going to make it quickly maybe, but you will lose it quickly as well. And then something called the recession hit, right? And I was working for the government, working for Clark County here. And guess what? I was out. And I said, wow, I've been working for this organization for 7 years. And just like that, I'm on the chopping block. Not offered another position to transfer to any other department. But now here I am in my 30s and I'm on unemployment. First time ever in that position. But remember, I told you in my 20s, I had been introduced to direct sales. So I said, okay, let me find another company and just get in. Found a company, got in, actually did pretty well in that company. But then I said, what other skill have I learned as a social worker that I could leverage to be able to make more money? Because even the direct sales company was not going to fully pay my mortgage, my car note, my insurance, pay for my whatever my daughter needs, clothing, food, everything, right? All of our monthly expenses. And at the time, I was also going through a divorce. And my house now was in foreclosure. And so I had to make money fast. And so I said, wow, I know about grants. And so I said, I'm just going to start advertising and promoting to people that I'm a grant writer. Nobody knows anything otherwise, right? Who's going to tell me I'm not a grant writer, right? There are some certifications, but it's not like you need a degree in grant writing to write someone's grants.
Right.
I know enough people here had been in the Valley for, at that time, about 18 years. So I knew enough nonprofit organizations, small businesses, government entities. Let me just put it out there and start networking. This was a little bit before Facebook. There was still probably the MySpace era, but I wasn't on MySpace. So I had to just boots on the ground network. Go get some business cards, print out some flyers. Back then it was Kinko's, right? It wasn't FedEx yet. Right? But shout out to Kinko's.
You would staple the flyer on the pole also, like on like the telephone pole.
And then I just use email marketing.
Yeah.
I had people in my emails, right? I had old contacts. And then I was part of associations. So like the National Forum for Black Public Administrators, the Nevada Association of Social Workers. And I said, let me just start going to all of these networking meetings and show up and pass out my business cards and flyers and tell people that I'm now a grant writer. And that's how I got my initial clients. Fast forward, because my home was in foreclosure, I actually needed to go back to work. And here's the reason why. There is something called deferred compensation when you are a state employee, and you can file, or county employee, you can file for hardship. But what I learned was that I could not access that money that I had in my deferred compensation account unless I was still working for an entity that allowed me to access it. And then I could claim the hardship. So I had to go back to work, which I did. And probably like the day after I signed my paperwork, I applied for hardship.
That's right.
So I could save my house, right? And still have somewhere to live. I want to say shortly after that, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I said several things occurred. I'll save that for another show.
Okay.
But 2017 comes around and I decided I wanted to work from home.
Right.
This was prior to the pandemic.
Mhm.
I wanted to be an entrepreneur fully. I didn't ever want to go through the situation that I had been through, to be in a situation where a man could control my income, where the government can control my income, where my employer could control my income. I wanted to be able to take ownership and responsibility, and the ability to give myself a raise when I wanted to. When I want to make more money, I want to set my own price and say what my time is worth. And so I had gotten remarried, and I told my husband I had to now have this conversation with my husband, who is not an entrepreneur at heart, who is totally a believer in you work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 on this job for 30 years. And when we retire, we're going to say, what we going to do for health insurance? Right. But that is his belief and his model, because he grew up in a 2-parent household that's what they did. They worked 30 years and they retired and did well in their retirement for themselves. It's just not the vision that I have. Right. For long term. And so I had to go to him and tell him, honey, I want to quit my job. And he said, are you crazy? You ain't leaving that good job. Because I had worked up to a position, like you said, high ranking position, making 80,000 plus, great benefits, retirement. And now I was going to tell him, I want to quit my job. And to him, that means I want to make zero income. Right. That's really what that means to him. So he said, okay, if you can work your job full time and do your business part time, and you can save, and he gave me a certain amount of money, he said, then I'll have belief that you can do this and you can leave your job. I did that. I did that. I worked my business. I went to work, worked my business at nights. I would be up to 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, just working my business. And I started my business with $300. So I was unconventional. And I just leveraged relationships. I went to my pastor. I went to people and said, hey, can I host a grant writing workshop? Can I begin to teach people in the community about grants at the church? I used Eventbrite. That was a technology at the time. Facebook had come around. I wasn't on Instagram, but I used in-person networking. I built my own website. Someone had told me about Weebly at the time.
I built my own too.
So I just went on YouTube. We had YouTube, right? So I went to YouTube University and learned how to do MailChimp, all of these. Maybe at the time I wasn't using MailChimp. Maybe Constant Contact was around. But I learned about all these different technologies and just began to do what I needed to do to market, to get out in the marketplace, to tell people what it was that I was doing. And I just built traction that way. Fast forward now, I did leave my job. I've been in business for 7 years now. I have a full-time employee who's an executive assistant, and I have 4 grant writing contractors that work with me currently.
So do you have a brick and mortar, or you do this just from your home office?
I started out with a home office because at the time it was just myself. So I didn't need an office, that extra expense. So I started as a home-based business. And then once I hired an employee, then I did go and get an office, an
Okay.
administrative office.
Okay.
So right now, and my friend, Miss Janet, introduced me to someone who I could sublease an office from. So I want to encourage other entrepreneurs that when you're thinking about getting an office or brick and mortar, it doesn't have to be that you're looking to go buy. It doesn't even have to mean that you're looking to go lease an office from a corporation, right? From a property management company. I went to another entrepreneur who I was introduced to that had extra office space that they were not using and said, "Can I sublease this from you?" And I was allowed to do that. So that's what we do currently.
Well, that's amazing. What a beautiful story.
Thank you.
I would like to know, is there anyone in this audience that I would like to know, for those of you guys that are trying to start a business, what's the business that you're trying to start?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Lizette Sands. And I just want to thank the host for having a platform for us. So a big round of applause to our hostess. Well, my name is Lizette Sands, and I have 4 businesses. My life, I'm going to tell you, it's been a wild roller coaster. To start off with, I was an educator. So we'll start there.
Okay.
And back in 1998, I was a teacher's aide. Fast forward, became a full-time teacher and have been in the K through 12 back in California and here in the Clark County School District for 7 years.
Okay.
And I have had quite the experience because back in California, they had a lot of budget cuts.
Yeah.
So the difference between my colleagues and myself is I was moved around so many times to more than 10 different schools. I really got to know lots of cultures and communities, different communities, and the equity part of it. How come some schools had more programs than others? So that's where it all begins. And then now coming to Las Vegas and finding out that our educational system is at the bottom when you compare it to other states. I know most of you understand and know that. And I just, as soon as I started with Clark County School District, I started trying to figure out what's wrong with the system. Why are we in that last place? And so going through the 7 years and going from one school to the next, just because this school was closing, this school had a new administrator. So that's how I got moved around here too. So my experience with education K through 12 is vast. I have a lot of experience in education.
Okay.
So with me growing up in the Los Angeles area, then San Bernardino area, and now Las Vegas area, I was also a musician. So I play the saxophone, or did, piano. I produced music. So I was very involved in extracurricular activities growing up. And then after college, just being out in the world, playing with a lot of Latin celebrities like Cristian Castro, if you're a Latin music listener. So I was performing with a lot of Latin famous people.
Okay.
So that's kind of like my background in that. Fast forward to a couple years later, after moving here to Las Vegas, I get married and I have my first child, which is my only child. She's 3 years old now. There are a lot of challenges, as most mothers know, raising a young one.
Okay.
But raising a young one is very different when you have no support from family.
Right.
And all your family is in Las Vegas. All your close friends are not Las Vegas, in California. All your close friends are in California. And so now you're out here in the desert, which I love, by the way.
Okay.
You're out here with no support. So now I'm going through some motherly challenges myself.
Okay.
And so trying to find daycare. And then once you find that daycare, putting your child in daycare, and then now she's sick all the time, and then you take her out. It's just this
I
this
got
help,
you.
right? Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
So then the pandemic hit, and
Okay.
that was a very challenging place to be for everyone, as we all know. When I came back to the education scene, the students was a complete different human beings. They were just so different
Right. Yeah, right.
pre-pandemic, and so
Yeah.
I can't even start to explain how different this whole scene turns out.
Okay.
So I realized that not only families and mothers and single parents have their own challenges,
Mhm.
but educators as well.
Right.
Educators have their own challenges that you can only imagine, right? From the whole, the salaries to
Right.
the
Right.
internal struggles that we go through.
Yes.
So I figured, why not come up with an app, not to solve the whole educational solution, but to help out,
Okay.
right? Come up with an app where families, moms can, I guess, book an activity for their child, right? Just like in the form of Uber.
Okay.
So you have vetted educators on the other side, and the families will book the educator's activity. The educator after school will come to your house
Mm-hmm.
and be with your family, spend time with your family, and have a little activity. But let me tell you where this comes from. Teachers generally do not have time for science projects. I'm no longer an educator, but educators have a struggle trying to fit in their whole one-day schedule English language arts, math, and writing.
Are you talking about once they get home
In
are you
the
talking
in the
about
classroom,
in the classroom?
from the morning to all the way to the afternoon, we're so focused in English language arts, math, and writing that we don't ever have time for the science projects.
So
and-
you must be dealing with, because I'm secondary. So I don't have, so mine is just subject. So for me, I don't have, my students are coming in for AP economics or whatever my class is for that semester. So you must be talking about K through 6. Primary?
Right, primary. But have you ever wondered how come my students don't know nothing about this topic? They should have been taught this in elementary.
Yes.
That's the reason, because we're standardized testing. We don't have time to teach them social studies or science.
Right.
And we're lucky if we have a gym coach or a PE teacher in the building. We're lucky.
It's the whole system.
It's the whole system. And so why not open it up to the public? Why not? Let's vet everybody that wants to join the app. We're going to vet them like Uber vets their drivers.
So
right?
the app is an application to where we are parents of students, and we go onto the app so that people will come to our house and do what?
And do STEAM or STEM activities.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the young people I've spoken to in California, they said, I want to learn how to drive. Can I get on the app and get somebody to help me to drive? Yeah.
Okay,
So
I see it.
It's just extracurricular activities, after school activities that don't pertain to classrooms, but that pertain to real life, like financial education. We don't have
so
that
basically
going on.
I can get on your app and say, I need someone to help my daughter, not just with tutoring or whatever, but maybe just with, to do this project that I can't do this project with her.
I spoke with 6 homeschool moms
Uh-huh.
about 2 years ago in the pandemic time. And they said, when is this app happening? Because I need a tutor right now. I'm homeschooling my daughter. And the district is real supportive with their resources and their programs. However, I can't get to some of these calculus problems myself.
Right.
There's some things that I don't even understand.
Go on Khan Academy
and the content that you find on YouTube or Khan Academy is not sufficient. I need someone in person to come and help my daughter, because I'm having problems with my husband now. We're arguing all the time because he's saying that I'm forcing her to learn. Well, yeah, that's her job. And that's my job. So there's a lot of home problems.
So let me ask
with
you
homeschool
this.
parents.
So let me ask you this. Has your app been launched? Are you in the
I'm
developmental
80
stage?
I'm in the development
Okay.
stage. I am developing it myself. It's 80% done. I still need 30%. However, I need funding. Software developers that help me and have helped me in the past, that's all have come out of my savings.
Right.
And so when I took it out to the public this last summer,
Yeah.
I had a lot of people give me good response, like, "Oh my God, thank God
So you
that somebody's
it.
thinking
surveyed-
about these things."
You
So
surveyed the business to see what the need is.
I did
Okay,
a
because
little
that's also
research.
what's
And
needed.
Amazon, one of our Amazon site leaders here in Las Vegas
Uh-huh.
said, "You know what? Your app would be great for my facility and my associates because we have a daycare next to our what do they call those facility warehouses, and my associates come with their children in the evenings. They drop their children off, but they're left with just a daycare person, not necessarily an instructor or a teacher. They're just playing. That would be great
So
if I can
you're-
have your app bring some of the educators into our daycare to help those kids with the homework." He
Right.
said that he would be on this app as Amazon.
So you basically see that there is a need for the
There
app.
is definitely
So there's a need. You're in the developmental stage of the app, and the only problem is that you need funding.
Right.
So we have grant writer here that can help with funding. We have someone here that also you help with grant writing as well. So this is where when we talked about networking and stuff like that, getting your business out there, no one knows that what you do or whatever the case may be. As I'm listening to the fundamentals of the business, I don't even see that there's a competition, but I do see that there's a need. When I spoke to Ms. Rashonda here, she has some competition with her business. I don't really see one with yours. And so that means that there is a need. Remember, I said that if there is a need for shoe shining business, I don't have a passion for shoe shining, but I'll start one because there's a need. So for yours, I think that for you need funding. I hope that you have a business plan because you have a lot that you need to put and get and stay focused on the vision and the mission of it. And sometimes, it's what's that saying is, you could be a something at many, but a nothing at none. What's the there we go. So I would think that, if I would think that, if it's, what I would start with something like, okay, tutoring or piano lessons or whatever the case may be, and get that launched and everything else like that.
And it's not just education. It's also for moms that are struggling. For example, when I was raising my 3-year-old, I couldn't leave the house because I was taking care of her, and I can't take her to the salon
to
get my hair done, my nails done.
So it's a babysitting app too?
So it's an app that it's called Jig. So
Okay.
it's like, think of it when you talk to musicians. What are you doing this weekend? Oh, I have a gig this week. So instead of saying, oh, I have a gig, I have a jig. And so it could be anybody. It could be a beauty specialist, a wellness specialist that can come to your house and do your hair at your house, do your nails at your house.
So now I see that you do have a competitor, and your competitor would be Booksy or what is that other one? Booksy, Style Seat. So because Booksy would be more of your competitor, Style Seat is Booksy's competitor. So you probably need to do, and I would, get with someone or a consultant or something like that to try to find out who your target market is. You need to know who that is and also who your competitor is. I found a really good app that I was on TikTok last night and scrolling, and it was a sponsored ad, and it was something, and I downloaded the ad. I downloaded the app, and it was called something. I'm gonna tell you because this is phenomenal. It's called Time Left. Okay, I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, but it's where you can go on the app and go to lunch with strangers or go to dinner with strangers. And so you book it, it's all free. You book it, and every single Wednesday you go to a 5-star restaurant with complete strangers. And I was like, I'm going to do that because this is a great networking opportunity. It's called Time Left. Okay. I have it on my phone. Okay. Time Left. All right. and that's something like yours that we've never heard of. That's absolutely a need. I'm sure half of you guys are going to download it when you get out of here. And I mean, it's something that we all need to do is, getting out there and networking and getting to know people. I would love to go to dinner with 5 people that I don't know and just have a conversation, and then they do like a match profile based off you answer these questions. Like, I like this, I'm vegan, or I like meat, or I'm a pescatarian, or whatever. And then it puts you with people. And every Wednesday at 7:00, you go to a restaurant.
That's
And
cool.
so I like, just like with that one, yours is unique. It's absolutely a need. But unlike Time Left, I don't see a competitor with Time Left. That company is doing well. Yours is going to be Booksy. Yours is going to be Booksy.
I just feel like Las Vegas can be number one. That's all we have been compared to other states, but I truly believe that. I know a lot of my colleagues would say you are crazy, but I know if I talk about it, and the more we talk about it, and the more we get together and focus on making education number one,
Yeah.
I believe we can.
I think that for you, it's my recommendation outside looking in. I think that the other part, see, now you became competitive with Booksy when you started adding somebody can do your hair, nails, and all that kind of stuff. That should be separate. That's what I was talking about with that cliche, a jack of all trades, but a master at many, or had none. Do that as a second business. Build that out secondly. But this one right here, the one for the parents, stick to that, because now you have, none of us can think of any competitors offhand. Once you have competitors, then your market is now decreased. You want to own that market. And so I'm just telling you, just sister to sister, that, and I'm from LA too. Okay. And so I'm from West LA. All right. But I'm familiar with the San Bernardino 909 area code. Okay.
Yeah.
But I really think that with you can get in contact with the people that are underneath this roof to help you get your funding. I think that for yours, I don't really know if grants are going to be the way. You can have that conversation, but crowdfunding absolutely will. That is what's going to get you money, is the crowdfunding, because that's something that investors, we don't see, we don't know. And that's something that would be the pitch. And I would also, if I were you, I would work on your pitch, because your pitch is what's going to get us to listen and write checks for you. Your pitch is what you need. I wouldn't start with I would have my pitch honed in to that, because it took us about 5 to 7 minutes before we actually knew what you were selling. So when you get ready to get in front of people, when you go to these networking events, go on Eventbrite and register for networking events. Get out there, let people know who you are and what you're selling, because I have a need for you. I personally do. You have a question?
I just want to say, so after this event is over, they're actually doing pitch practice here in
Oh, wow, look at this.
It is off camera, so you won't have to worry about being on camera, but there will be judges that will give you feedback to help you with your
And they asked me to be a judge, but I'm going to the lake after this. So, yeah.
We have alternate media, Nadia and Lauren in the back. That you guys
Yay.
Hello.
just walked in, Lauren Anderson from All Recruiting.
Hi.
Yeah. Stick around. It's great.
Yes. Well, thanks for sharing.
Thank
If you
you so
have
much.
any business cards, and I think that you guys, we should all, connect somehow or whatever, and get to know each other. I'll give you guys all my business cards. You can find me on all social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of them. Heather Ella Rise. Heather Ella Rise. My name is Heather Ella Rise. So you can find me across everything on there. And just before we close out, is there any questions that you have for any of us? Or okay, Brenda wants to say something.
We talked
Rise like the sun.
we talked about networking. Please pull out your phones or your pencils and pens. Oh, do you still use those? There is a networking mixer that is every single month in Las Vegas. It is at the Suncoast. I'm sorry, it's at the Santa Fe. It used to be at the Suncoast. It's at the Santa Fe over on Rancho from 6 until 9 in the evening. This is networking. This is not selling. This is networking. and it is the first Tuesday of every month except December.
Oh,
LVB&M,
yeah,
okay? But I'm asking you to go. Just go, show up, and walk around and talk to people. We also do classes, and I'm partial to that one since I usually moderate them. But we want to build the business community, and we want to build it with strong businesses. How do we get strong? We support one another, but we need to know one another and know how to support one another. So it'll be Tuesday. Yeah, you've got Monday off, so you're okay. So it'll be Tuesday from 6 until 9 at the Santa Fe over on Rancho. And if anybody asks you how you found out about it, tell them the mouth told you. Okay. But it's well worth it. Please come and use that time to get to know folks and to start practicing how you can talk to people so that they actually hear you.
Thank you.
6
to 9. Oh, yeah, it's Santa Fe. And the owner of that one is
Paula and Sylvester Jackson.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yes. And so and I can get you guys in contact with her as well. And so can Brenda. Does anyone have any questions for us specifically before we conclude this event? And then I'll lead us out and invite you to well, before I even just go there, after this, we'll be having an event on September 13th from 11 to 1. Huh? Oh, oh, that's your birthday? Okay, well, happy birthday. On September 13th, I was asked by the community, just real quick, a Facebook follower of mine had said, I had posted one day my earnings on how much I make every month. Instagram pays twice a month. Facebook pays once a month. TikTok pays once a month. YouTube pays once a month. So I had put all of my screenshots and I had posted it for just like an hour, because then I took that thing down. And I said, this is how I said, my caption was, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And so SENSE, but you get the rhyme. And so I posted it. So I ended up getting a bunch of people messaging me about, well, how do you do it and things of that nature. And so I was asked if I can teach the community how to monetize and how to become a content creator. She's 65 years old. And let me tell you something, for social media, it doesn't matter what you look like, how old you are. In fact, I actually follow this little old lady, and she's funny, and she has like 1.5 million followers, Yeah. So, everyone has a niche, and I had explained to her, I said, I looked at her page, I said, the last video that you posted, it was just you at the pool with your chihuahua. What you should have done is, and as an example, I said, you should have turned the camera around and said, I got a story to tell. That's what's going to get you a view. It's going to get you views. And when you keep doing that, so there's a certain type of way on how to get viewers and things of that nature. For me, it was real fast because I had a story to tell, and I used my divorce, as my niche, and it grew. And so I'm teaching a class, or we're going to have it something like this, where I'm going to teach the community, and we named it Monetizing Social Platforms, because I monetize across all of them and they all pay me. Go ahead.
The question is, can each one of them tell their business hours of operation? And
yeah, wait, for what?
You asked it anyway. You have a question.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So just to conclude that out, that is September the 13th, and then the second class is October the 4th here at Nevada Partners from 11 to 1 p.m. Okay. And so, yes, and before we leave, if you guys have any questions for us on the panel, and then also, what did you state?
I was asking what's their hours of operation.
For oh, okay. All right, what is your hours of operation?
We are closed Tuesdays and Wednesdays. On Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we're 12 to 8, and Sunday, 12 to 5:30. 4343 North Rancho Drive in the same complex as Bank of America and Arco.
What's the cross streets?
Craig and Rancho.
Oh, okay.
I train women in person semi-privately, so 2 to 3 women at a time, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. 5959 South Valley View Boulevard. It's off Russell and Valley View. It's a warehouse, and it's called Self-Made Training Facility. And then on the weekend, Sunday service is 9 a.m. It's a boot camp, and also on Saturdays 9 a.m. And then my podcast drops every Tuesday. It's called Bamboo Season. It's based off the story of the bamboo plant, how you have to cultivate it every day and just trust the growth is coming. And I have people on there who share their stories of how they transformed and grow, how I did from sobriety to where I'm at now. So that's every Tuesday. Spotify, YouTube, both. Yeah. Bamboo Season podcast on Spotify, or my YouTube channel is Dorian Warmsley, and you'll find it.
Okay. And you're also on Instagram.
Yes, my Instagram is just my name, Dorian Warmsley. TikTok as well, and Twitter. You'll hear my story and share fitness and everything.
And for DB's Kitchen, you guys have a Facebook.
Instagram.
And it's just DB's
at DB's Cajun Kitchen.
Okay,
DB's
Cajun Kitchen. Okay. At DB's Cajun Kitchen. So you're in North Las Vegas or Las Vegas?
Las Vegas.
Okay, and you're like on the south side. You said Russell?
Yeah, right by the stadium.
Okay, so he's on the south side and she's in Las Vegas. Yeah, so before we conclude, do you guys have any questions for us specifically? Anybody else want to share anything, or you have any direct questions on your business or your platform? If not, then go ahead.
Real quick.
Sure.
The biggest problem small businesses run into all the time, funding, right?
Funding,
If
yes.
you know somebody that's in business, they have a funding issue, and they know somebody with a funding issue. My point is, my business is very unconventional because I teach people that they can use their money to build their wealth. We talk about things that's conventional and unconventional.
Can we get him a mic?
Oh, I can talk now.
Okay, but we're streaming, so those are on. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so you said
just real quick.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can get over here. We can all use the money that we're already making and forget about the funding or the borrowing money and whatnot. We teach people to just take the money we have, pool it together, and we can eliminate all that need for funding and all that stuff, because the bottom line is that's the biggest hurdle most businesses going to run into. So why not solve that ahead of time? So we teach people to build their wealth first and then follow their dreams. So that's what we mainly focus on. And my website is buildwealthmentors.com, buildwealthmentors.com. And I do presentations every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Zoom presentations. So that's what we teach. Just real quick, I wanted to say that. Okay.
And I just want you guys also to know that some of us started with $100, $200.
Exactly.
For me, all I needed was a website. So I
Exactly.
started with like $100 to get mine started in YouTube. And I just picked up my camera and I started talking, and then I started getting engagements and I started getting bookings and things of that nature. So everybody's story is different.
Exactly.
Announcement to share. So I'm gonna tee up Officer Sanchez. She's here from the Nevada Juvenile Detention Center. So go ahead.
Bless you. Hello, everybody. I'm loud.
You want to come in
think
front
I
of
need
the
this.
camera?
No, not yet. Oh, okay. Okay.
She's like, oh, okay.
Thank you, everybody. Where do you want me?
Right over here.
Okay. First of all, I'm just beyond humble and grateful to be here amongst all these great people. To tell you that I got to use my, that's right. I forgot. To tell you that Las Vegas is such a small community. Okay. It really is. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about my background because I hate to make it about myself. I'm here to, celebrate everybody else. But basically, I've worked in juvenile corrections for many, many years. My passion comes from many, many years before that. I was a TA for many years for children that had disabilities, and that's where I started started my passion for working with juveniles. And it just became a thing, right? The reason why I was so good at my job in corrections with juveniles for so many years is because, again, I made a genuine connection, right? I've been in this community for 22 years now. And let me tell you, it's a small community. So be careful how you treat people. We've had this conversation with Mr. Robert. I'm here because of networking, and I'm here because I ran into someone. I don't have a nonprofit. I don't have a business. I just simply want to make my community a better place. Okay. Being in the system, working in the system with this population, it has allowed me to see the necessity and the need to stand up and do something about it. Okay. So I want to make a difference. And that's where my passion comes in. And that's why I'm so good at my job. And that's why I was so good at, where when I was at the facility, because I was able to make those genuine connections. I'm that officer that I was out there doing community service on my days off. I'm out there speaking at events. People just love hearing it from a different perspective, right? And I truly believe that we can all make a difference, and that's why I'm here. I'm trying to connect a network for my population. I'm trying to connect everyone together, whether you're an educator, a doctor, a lawyer, a fitness instructor, a coach, a life coach, an entrepreneur, mastermind like Miss Heather. And to tell you how small of a network it is, may I say that I previously know you?
Yes.
So I used to work with her better half, and come to find out, I didn't even know she was going to be at this event, right? I just came to talk to the wonderful Elias, which thank you for bringing us all together. I told them I was going to swing by and talk about our project for next Friday, which everyone's invited.
Okay.
Again, this is just about making the community better, right? This is not for anyone in particular. This is for everyone. I'm trying to rally everybody as a community because we need to take a stand, okay? And I've seen firsthand how we just often look the other way and see these juveniles. Let's throw the key away and lock them up, right? I want to give them a chance. I want to give them a platform. I want to make a difference. I want to bring everyone together because we all have something to give back. And that's where the need for all of you guys to come together comes from, because we need to work together, not against each other. I often go to networking events, and unfortunately, you see a lot of egos, and it shouldn't be like that, because at the end of the day, we all have something. We all bring value, and just be open to really helping your community, because like Mr. Robert said, when you have a passion for it, like, what's in it for me? There's nothing in it for me other than to make an impact, because you never know, you might just help that person that's sitting back there, right? So we all need each other at the end of the day. I want to make this a better place for all of us, because my kids go to school with the kids that are on parole, right? So because I was on the juvenile correction aspect of things, now I'm on the streets. Now I get to see even more so the need for resources. So I'm trying to rally all the resources that we have, which is all of you have something to bring to the table. We can all work together to make it a better community, whether it is in your backgrounds in beauty, dentistry, funding, right? Look at all the wonderful people in this room that have a talent, that have a skill, that have something amazing, that they got something great going for them. Why not bring it to the table and work together as a community? Because I've had enough of egos, and I'm also trying to change the perception of, from my perspective, right? I'm not just an officer. At the end of the day, I'm trying to make an impact. So I'm trying to change that perception that people have, that I can also make a difference.
And so it's next weekend?
Next Friday,
At
we're
what
going to
time?
have our first meeting where we can all brainstorm,
Okay.
bring a friend, put the word out there. I want to get everyone involved, because we need to make it a better community for our kids.
Okay.
Because I'm tired of seeing that why can't we come together as a group?
So it's yeah.
9 a.m. right here at Nevada Partners. Again, we're
And
trying
what
to
time
put
is it in?
9 a.m.
No, 9 to what?
Probably like an hour and a half, 9
Okay.
to. So we're
It's like
trying to
9 to 11.
9 to 11.
Okay.
Yes.
Next Friday. Okay.
And listen, when I share my story, right now I wasn't prepared. We were just supposed to make, the invitation for everybody, but I can sit here and tell you, in depth about the work that I've done and the things that I've seen. There's a need for everyone to stand up in this community and work together. Okay. At the end of the day, it's our community. It's not just you. It's not just your branding. Guess what? Your app is going to make a difference. Guess what, Mr. Robert? The work that you're doing day in and out is going to make a difference. The impact that you're making in people with your podcast, I mean, it's going to go a long ways, right? You never know who you're going to need. And I am proud to say that in the last 22 years that I've been in this community, I can walk into a room and see these beautiful faces and say, oh yeah, I know you. And because it's the relationships that I built over the time with the people. Be kind to people. Don't think of it. Go out there. Don't think, oh, what's in it for me? When you do it with your heart and because you're passionate about something, and there's a need for resources for our kids in the state of Nevada, especially Las Vegas. So please help me. Let's support each other. I love y'all. I don't even know you, but I can just feel like, thank you for making a difference. Thank you.
All
I
right.
appreciate you guys.
All right. Well, that concludes our event for today. And I hope to see you guys back out for our social media monetizing platform, which will be on, I have it written down right here, September the 13th here from 11 to 1. I passed out my business cards to you guys, and I hope that you guys all exchange social media or phone numbers or what's it called, Snapchats and whatever. And so that would conclude us for today. Thank you, everyone, for here on this